Question number 12 is to find inverses of linear functions. Here we need to follow certain set of rules to find the inverse because it's about an equation given to us. Now let's look over here. First thing, inverse means if there is x, it becomes y and y becomes x, right? Say for example, inverse of this coordinate 2 and 5 will be the inverse pair over here, xy would be this y becomes the x value over here 5 and this x value becomes the y 5 comma 2. So this is what inverse means. If it's plus, it becomes minus. If it's multiplication, it's division. If it's 1 by 2, inverse would be 2 by 1. These are the inverse things. Now what do we do for a function? We need to follow set of rules. First of all, whenever we have f of x, write it as y equals 8x minus 5. Now, wherever y is, they put x, and wherever x is, they put y. Just swap these two. In the sense, it will become x equals 8y minus 5. Now, we solve for y because whenever we write function f of x, right, this is equal to y. Now this y value, whatever is there, that is equal to f inverse of x. That is the inverse function. Why? Because we have already swapped the original function. So it's not y exactly, it's y in terms of inverse of function. So now take everything to the other side and keep y alone. That means x becomes x plus 5. This 5 goes over there, divided by 8 equals y. I directly jump steps, so I'll write in detailed steps. Here, plus 5 equals 8y. Divide 8 both the sides, it will be x plus y divided by 8 equals y. This is the answer. But don't write like this. The answer will be f inverse of x equals, this y is inverse, right? That is equal to x plus 5 by 8. That's the answer. Now, looking over here, you can see that this is the simplified. There is no brackets over here. So look at this x. X next to it is plus minus, which becomes plus 5. And before it is 8, which is multiplication, becomes division. That is the inverse. That's it. So this would be the final answer. And same way you can try the other problems by yourselves. Over here now what they have done is they have simplified it further. This 8, right? They have done distributive property. X divided by 8 plus 5 divided by 8. So this is it. 1 by 8 and x by 8 is the same thing. Next one is over here. So now if you're thinking the final answer would be x minus 7 by 6. This is kind of wrong. Why? Because first multiply this. It will be 6x plus 6 times 7 is 42. Now here it would be x minus 42 divided by 6. This would be the final answer. Let's just check quickly. So you can say x minus 42 divided by 6. This I'm doing directly, but the actual method is what? Now we can, we can leave it like this because if you're doing the method, it is y equals 6 of x plus 7. Swap the y and x. It will be x equals 6 of y plus 7. Now solve for y. So take this to the other side. What happens is it will divided by y, divided by 6. Oh, now I realize, yes, it's better to multiply this inside because otherwise it will be LCM. Why? Because if I take this now down over here, equals y plus 7. Now when 7 goes to the other side, it'll be like this, minus 7 equals y. Now what happens? You have to take the LCM, which is you need to multiply over here at the right side by 6 and divide by 6, which will be x minus 7 times 6 is 42 by 6 equals y. That is f inverse. Otherwise, the simpler method is always here multiply what is in the bracket. Use distributive property and multiply. So here what happens is x equals 6y plus 7 times 6 is 42. Take this to the other side. X minus 42 equals 6y. X minus 42 divided by 6 equals y. Therefore, f inverse of x equals x minus 42 by 6. That's it. That will be the answer. Yeah, we got the same answer. Then what else? We have another problem here. Same thing. It's up to you. if you can't do the direct method, just use the substitution. See over here, substitution, change this. First f of x becomes y. Now swap these two. Y becomes x, x becomes y. Now then simplify. 9 goes to the other side, becomes minus 9. And then over here, this 4 by 3 is multiplied. You can multiply this in by distributive property or leave it over here. So this is how we do it. Now, if you're thinking, okay, here it's no bracket, so it's already simplified. So it is x minus 9, isn't it? And this is divided by, this is inversed. So this 3 goes down, becomes division. This already division becomes multiplication. It will be 4 times x minus 9 divided by 3. That is over here, same thing. If you're directly doing the inverse. Same thing over here, you can directly think of the inverse or you can do it in the steps and finally get the answer. Over here, what you can do is, I would personally prefer to keep this x term first, then write the the numbers. So it will be x plus 16, and now this 5 goes up, 2 comes down. So it's 5 by 2, x plus 16. Let's check the answer. Yes, that's the answer. Direct inverse. Inverse means plus becomes minus, this 2 by 5 becomes 5 by 2, or multiplication becomes division. That is inverse. Here again we have similar problem, but in this case what I would personally do is I would split this, do the distributive property, solve them, and then do the inverse. Okay, here this would be the final answer. So why, see, in such problems it's a little bit complicated, but I'll tell you why. Say this is 3x by 4 plus 5 by 4. Okay, now x becomes x minus 5 by 4, and this becomes 4 by 3. Now if you multiply this 4x inside, it will be 4x minus 5 times 4 by 4, which cancels out, and then whole thing divided by 3. It will be 4x minus 5 by 3. This is the direct inverse. I'm telling directly. Inverse concept is about changing the signs if you do it directly. But you know, once you're very thorough, this becomes easy. Otherwise, just follow the method, because this swapping and rearranging and writing is also very easy method. So please follow that only. Here also, please follow this method. Write it in terms of y equals this equation, then change x and y, and then simplify further and solve it up. That's the answers. And that's the end of this topic. Please try practicing more problems. For this topic, you should just practice more problem and then it becomes easier. If you have not just practiced, then it will be very difficult because there are many mistakes in many steps. When you go over here, you might get confused. So write and solve these, then it will be ingrained in your mind and you can easily solve them in the exam.